Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Well, we have got some good news this morning. Overnight, there were breaks in two cases that we're covering. Two very frustrating cases. That's all the cases that we're covering at the moment feel frustrating, don't they? Waiting for answers. It seems like, we're sort of waiting all the time. No break in the case, isn't it? All the cases. We do. Coming on talking about Nancy Guthrie, talked about Samantha Murphy, we talked about Celeste Rivas, etc. And nothing really frustrating, just waiting for the sort of wheels of justice, to chug on. But yeah, overnight. So as typical, sort of some real news, because this is the other thing. There's always something to talk about, but often it's not proper news, is it? It's what streamers are saying, or what Facebook's saying, or what some podcaster is saying. Actual real information from law enforcement. That we know is true, that are developments, real developments in cases, have been few and far between, haven't they, just recently, particularly in Celeste's case and Nancy Guthrie's case. So they're the two cases we're going to talk about today, about some developments, proper developments, that hopefully will lead, to cracking the case, if you like, successful convictions, etc. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone. I've got a little song that I'm going to play for you in a minute, that somebody sent me. Thank you so much to all you chatters out there, all of you that follow my channel, who watch, like, subscribe, become members, send Ko-fis, send songs, send me nice emails with information about cases, leave nice comments, PayPal me, Bizoom me, all the things, the lovely things that you all do that contribute to my channel in many different ways. Thank you so much. And as I say, I am going to play this song in a moment. So first of all, hello lovely lurkers. Good to see you this morning. Hope you're all well. Hello replay crew. Thank you for watching. And who's in the chat? We've got a few people in the chat. Julie, you are first this morning, bright and early. Julie up there in Madrid in Spain. Another nice day today. The sun's out. It's a little bit chilly, as it always is in the mornings, but the sun's out here in Spain, isn't it? No wind, no rain. Hi Lily. Oh Julie, that's very kind. So Julie's gifted a membership. Thank you so much. I have to go on to my I just have to go on to my other thing to see who got the membership, because it doesn't come up on my StreamYard to say who's actually got the membership, which is really annoying. But it'll come up on here. Let me do. So that membership has gone to Claire Gibson. So thank you, Julie, for the membership that's gone to Claire Gibson, who's received a gift membership. Thank you so much to Julie for that. That's really kind. Um, you're always very kind, Julie. Thank you. Right, I've got to go back now to the StreamYard. Oh, I've only had one coffee, so I need my second coffee, because I'm not the brightest spark at the best of times, but after just one coffee, it's not enough to wake me up in the morning. So, right, where we're going to go from here. So, yeah, thank you for that membership. And anybody who'd like to join, please, that's a really good way you can support my channel. And don't forget, with memberships, you can join just for a month. You know, you can join for a month, and then you can cancel the membership and then maybe come back a couple of months later, or it's not a commitment like that when you join, that's it, and that you've got to stay a member. I mean, it's great if you do stay a member, of course, but I understand, some months are more difficult than others, aren't they, financially speaking. So yeah, memberships can be cancelled at any time. They're not, you're not signing up for a year or anything like that. So, if you want to join just for a month to contribute to my channel, or if you just want to do a one-off thing, then the Ko-fis are the best way to support my channel, because you buy a Ko-fi, that's a one-off thing. It's not recurring. So yeah, thank you. And the Ko-fis are just from three, I don't know, it's euros or pounds or whatever your currency is. So anyway, thank you. Oh, Julie, that's kind. So Julie says it's because you're very good at what you do. That means so much, because you know what? Sometimes I don't feel very good at what I do in all walks of life. You know how we go through, don't we, so I think we all go through these moments, don't we, where we just think, God, what am I even doing? I've been a bit dispirited about the YouTube lately because of the demonetization. But, I had 3 videos, one after the other, demonetized for no reason that I can see. I try and avoid sort of being really graphic in videos and things that will upset YouTube, and anyway, it's so it dispirits you a bit, because you're trying to get a message across, you're trying to give information. I'm interested in these cases, and obviously you lot out there, you're interested. That's why you watch and try and get information. And then when YouTube sort of does that, because it's not only the money side of it, it means, they won't show it, like, so it doesn't go into the into the algorithm, because when they demonetize you, then they don't show your video, they don't present it to people and that, because they just don't. So it's got a double-edged sort of depressing thing about it. Anyway, I've been with the angels this morning, believe it or not. I don't know, I just something again popped up on my feed, and it was talking about guardian angels and how to recognize when a guardian angel is looking after you. So it's what can I say? It's so I've got this thing. So some advice it gave me, or for all of us, that you should thank your guardian angels on a regular basis, and that you should write down. And I've written it down. And I've put it in front of my computer. Thank you, guardian angel, for the times you have saved me. Because what this person was saying, that guardian angels, you have to ask them, you have to speak to them, not they're just there waiting for you to ask them for help. So help, I think my guardian angel, whoever my guardian angel is, they must think sometimes, oh my God, what's she done now? What's she done now? Oh God, how am I going to get her out of this one? Anyway, so there you go. So that's my advice, to a little bit of why don't you do that? Write down, thank you, guardian angel, for the times you have saved me. Because often you don't know that you've been saved. You might have been sent, something might have happened that's held you up, and you see, it's frustrating, but it might be a reason for that, because that might be your guardian angel trying to stop you from going to a certain place, or talking to a certain person, or getting yourself in a scrape. So, anyway. Yeah, so Julie says, I saw a lady on a channel talking about reading extracts from the Epstein files. I try and avoid the Epstein files, because I tell you what, every time you put anything with the name Epstein in it, it gets, because first of all, what they do is they demonetize it. Then you get a chance to appeal. So you appeal it, and then they either keep it like that or not. Now, they don't make you take the video down normally, but what they do is they don't put it, they don't put it out there, and put adverts on it. And when they put adverts on it, that means that it's gets shown more, because they're trying to make revenue, obviously, from the adverts. They're the ones who make revenue from the adverts. What the actual YouTuber makes is very small. Because they don't put it out there into the metaverse or whatever you call it, they don't push the video. So they don't necessarily take the video down, but they just don't push it out there. So you don't, people don't even often know that you've even put that video out there. But anyway, so it doesn't make sense. I've watched some videos that I watch. So I try and avoid any videos about SCX abuse of children, apart from the fact it's distressing. But also, I know that YouTube doesn't like it. They're on it like a shock. It's like this case at the moment, this poor little girl, Athena, who was murdered by the UPS driver. I haven't even done a bit. When the case is finished and we know what his sentencing is and everything, maybe I'll do a video about it. But I know for a fact that will just get pulled up. But in the meantime, there's lots of other videos out there that sometimes I think, how is that video still up there? But anyway, YouTube is a mystical thing to itself. You know what I mean? So what can you say? It's a platform that's important, that people watch. I use it, and what can I do? I'm not going to come off YouTube. So, but yeah, I do feel the Epstein thing is like, it goes so deep, the Epstein thing, that probably just even saying it now, YouTube's going to pick up, because they register the words that you say. But yeah, it's such a massive thing, isn't it? A worldwide thing, societal thing. It's exposing the elites, and nothing's happening to them. Andrew, formerly known as Prince, he's still going around it about his life, isn't he? He's not in prison. He's not. It's not. Nobody's getting arrested. Anyway, that's my thing. Until people start getting arrested, it's just a waste of time. You've got the orange one in the White House. He's not getting pulled up about it. Melania distancing herself from it and saying she never knew Epstein, even though obviously she did. So it's depressing, isn't it? Okay, let's cheer ourselves up before we start talking about these cases. Now, sorry about the waffle. Those of you who know me, there's always waffle on the lives to start off with. We're going to be talking about Celeste first, Celeste Rivas, the girl up in the corner here, and this sort of, well, say shocking news. It's not shocking, because we can't believe why this man has not been arrested already. Celeste is the young girl. Her videos that I do about her often get demonetized as well, but I think that's because of her age, because she's only 14. We're going to talk about that first anyway. First of all, I want to show you this song that a member has made. So I want to say thank you very much to them. If they want to if they on and they'll say, I won't say who they are, because they might not want me to. I'm always trying to keep confidences. I just want to say thank you. It's a song. They've sort of sent me a few versions of this song, but of course my computer broke, didn't it? So I've still got the songs in emails, and I must make some more videos. But I had all the videos that I used to play, and they're all on my other computer. So I've got to make new videos, and it's just a question of time, really. But anyway, so this hasn't got a video with it. It's just the song. But I'm going to put a video to it, that's for sure. So where is it? Just got to find it first, of course. And I just want to say thank you so much for doing this for me. Make sure it's sharing, and then I will press play. Sorry, it's slow. As you know, this computer is slow. Nothing really I can do about it, sadly. Won't be long. I will have a new one. Oops.
No one's ever going to believe what happened to me yesterday. Most people won't even watch this video,
Oh, shit.
but the ones that do can be completely shocked.
Why is that and that?
I'm in Tractor Supply yesterday, my second home, getting stuff for this guy and the others.
I don't know why this is coming up. This is the one I want. Listen, guardian angel, you need to sort out my need to sort out these little gremlins that I get. Can't get it to play now. Why is that? Oh God, I did it again. As soon as I scroll down, it goes to the next video. Maybe I need to go back to this. Oh, so slow, this computer. No, it's not cooperating. It's just stopping it and starting it again. Probably better. Right, I've got to share it again now. It's been so frustrating as well, not having a proper computer. You know, it's so difficult trying to work with this computer. But anyway, it's better than nothing. Come on. It's supposed to be playing now. It must. Oh, it's good to know again. Oh. Just keeps jumping on to the next. Let's put Let's get the sound up.
The world is the purest gold, with every video fresh and new. You light my days with joy so true. Oh, Vicky Maria, your voice, your charm, your spark, your flare, keep me glued beyond compare. From laughs to lessons, all you share. No other channel shines so rare. The comments buzz, your fans agree. We're all here for your energy. A loyal crowd, you're ahead of the game. So here's my thanks from me to you, for all the fun and wisdom too. Creating, stay the same. Vicky Marie, you've won the game. The comments buzz, your fans agree. We're all here for your energy. A loyal crowd, you're ahead of the game. So here's my thanks from me to you, for all the fun and and wisdom too. Keep creating, stay the same. Vicky Marie, you won the game. Keep creating, stay the same. Vicky Marie, you've won the game.
So yeah, thank you so much for that. I love that song, actually. I really appreciate people sending me songs because I'm not any good at that kind of thing. Now, I will put that to a video. I'll make a nice video out of it. I can do that, but I'm just no good at making songs. So thank you for that. I'm going to play that again at the end, and I will upload it on my streaming thing so that I can play it more often again. Now, so as I say, I lost all the other ones that I had because of the computer going kaput. Okay, let's start talking about these cases. So first of all, we're going to talk about Celeste Rivas. This poor girl up in the corner here. I put a bigger picture of her up, actually. And this girl, this is the girl that was found, sadly, I've got to be careful what I say because YouTube will be on me like a shot. She was not only unalived, had been unalived, but she had also, you know, her body was in separate parts. And this was in a Tesla, wasn't it? In the front. She was found in what they call the front of a Tesla. Quite a long time ago now, wasn't it? Wasn't it last August? I think August 2025. This car had been. Sorry, that song was playing there when I wasn't trying to play it. That's what I mean. I'm sure there's some sort of poltergeist got hold of my computer. When I'm trying to play it, it wouldn't play, and then when I turn it off, it starts playing. So yeah, poor Celeste, only 15 years old. Well, we're not sure exactly of her age, is it? This, you know, 15, 16 years old, young anyway, very, very young. Found in the front trunk of a Tesla that had been towed away because it was illegally parked, and it was in a tow yard, or where, you know, wherever cars go when they're towed away, ready to be, I suppose, to be crushed. I don't know. And there was a smell noticed coming from this car. And so the police were called, and in the front of this Tesla was the body of Celeste Rivas. It's not been divulged the full sort of, you know, circumstances and how long she'd been there, etc. And her forensic files had been sealed. In other words, we don't know about the post-mortem. We don't know all the details. They've been sealed. Now, she had a famous boyfriend, from what we can gather, and that is this man, David, he's so pretentious, this guy. I mean, look at what's he got on? He's got like his grandma's blouse on there. He's a very pretentious guy. He's on the brink of, he's famous, but he's on the brink of mega stardom. You know, he had a European tour lined up. He's, if you see him, I find him a very pretentious, pseudo intellectual type guy who, you know, you could see that he would be able to impress young girls, but probably won't really do very well impressing any woman his own age. I mean, not that he's that old, he's under 30, but he's a lot older than Celeste all the same. And yeah, he uses a lot of big words, and his songs are all, you know, got deep meanings and this, that and the other. But basically, this is, you know, he dresses in his grandma's clothes. Sorry, I just like to say, you know, I just really do not like this guy at all. Not only because what allegedly is done to Celeste, and of course everyone's innocent till proven guilty, but you know, he had a few strange songs, didn't he? What was that one? Romantic Homicide. I don't know. He's just a very pretentious young man, and you could imagine that a girl like Celeste, who not only because she's young, but she was, you know, they called her a troubled teen. She'd have problems. Most teenagers have problems with their family, don't they? You know, they rebel at some point. She'd run away from home before, you know. So I think Celeste would have been an easy target for someone like David, who's a pseudo intellectual. He was starting to get really famous, probably got quite a lot of money, certainly a lot more money than Celeste had. And, you know, yeah, just a horrible, you know, not really a very nice person. To me, anyway. This is besides what he's done to Celeste. Just the way he spells his name even, you know, David, D4D. How pretentious can you get? Anyway, I suppose, you know, that's what famous people do. Now, we don't know the circumstances. All we know that Celeste said she had a boyfriend called David. She was seen with him. You know, it seems like they were in a romantic relationship, which in itself is horrible, really, because she is a minor and, you know, he should know better. So what were the circumstances? You know, it's a very strange case. What happened to her? You know, why? I mean, you know, famous or not, or strange or not, why would you kill someone and cut them up and put them in your Tesla? And the thing is, it was his Tesla. You know, it was linked immediately to him because it is in his name. So it wasn't very clever what was done. And then some people are saying maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was somebody he knew who had the keys to the car or whatever. Anyway, this will all come out. But for a long time, we've all been absolutely astounded because it's coming up to a year now since Celeste was found. You know, it's certainly 8 months, 9 months, and no arrest, and all this talk about David, and he did this mysterious trip somewhere, and you know, there's been a lot of chatter, if you like, about David, but nothing from law enforcement. And why had he not been arrested? I mean, come on, you know, if somebody found a cut up body in the back of my car, I'm going to be the likely suspect. You'd think you'd be arrested, wouldn't you? Just on suspicion. You know, I can't believe he's not been arrested all this time. Anyway, the big news is he has finally been arrested and charged with murder. So let's have a look at an article about it. Now, it's still quite strange because he wasn't indicted. Now, you know, I'm not an expert on the American justice system, but normally suspects are indicted, aren't they? You know, the law enforcement go to a court, don't they, and present the evidence, and then it's decided whether there's probable cause to arrest that person. Isn't that the way it normally works? Anyway, it hasn't worked like that this way, was it? He hasn't been indicted. He's just immediately been arrested. So his lawyers, of course, are already moaning about that. Now, let's see. Why can't I find the article that I had ready about it? Anyway, I can find it easy enough. So, yeah. Finally, why has it took all this time, months and months and months? And why now? Why have they suddenly decided to arrest him? So, yeah, gone from sort of, you know, not arresting him, all these months going by not arrested, and now when they have arrested him, he's not been indicted. He's just immediately gone to the arrest. So, you know, they're doing it their way, I suppose. I just want to show you the article first of all. Then I've got some footage of the actual arrest to show you. Do you think David thought he was literally getting away with murder? Do you think it was a surprise to him in the end? You know, all this time not being arrested. So let me just make sure that's sharing. So yeah, what's brought this on all of a sudden? It feels sudden, but of course it's not sudden. His months later, since this poor girl was murdered, somebody murdered her. I mean, the thing is, one thing we do know for sure is she didn't cut herself up, did she? So, because there was initial thoughts that did she have an overdose? Did she take an overdose? And someone's panicked and hid her body in that, but which is always a possibility. But I think there was nothing in her system, not that we can, you know, because the forensic results are sealed, you know, we can't say for certain. But she certainly didn't cut herself up, that's for sure. So somebody did that. Somebody did that, and somebody who knows David, somebody who had access. If it wasn't David himself, it was someone who had access to his car. So R&B singer David has been arrested for the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez more than 7 months after her body was found in the trunk of a vehicle. The Los Angeles Police Department confirmed that David Anthony Burke, 21, of Los Angeles, was arrested on Thursday and is being held without bail. So on September the 8th, so it was September the 8th, Celeste was found. The girl's body was found after employees at Hollywood Tow reported a foul odor coming from a Tesla SUV, which had been on the lot for 5 days after it was reported abandoned in the Hollywood Hills. So reported abandoned. I mean, how thick is he? He's a thicko, isn't he? Because, you know, if you put a body in your car, you don't leave it abandoned. Or was he hoping that it'd get towed away and then crushed? Was he hoping that? So the Tesla Model Y with Texas plates was registered to Burke, a rising R&B musician known as David, with millions of fans and followers. Yeah, and he literally was on the cusp of massive stardom. He was coming to Spain. He was doing a tour of Europe, or just about to start one. Of course, he couldn't do it in the end. So LAPD detectives said that Celeste's dismembered and decomposing body had been in the car for weeks. So we don't know exactly how long. The Tesla was parked on Bluebird Avenue, not far from a Hollywood Hills rental home that Burke was living in before it was towed. I'm going to call him Burke and not David because he's such a pretentious little shit. It'll annoy him being called a Burke. Detectives later served a search warrant at the home where several pieces of evidence were seized. And on November the 18th, sources told KTLA that Burke was considered a suspect in her death. So she had been missing from Lake Elsinore since April 2024 when she was only 13. The potential relationship between her and Burke has been a critical part of the investigation, with images that have surfaced online which appear to show the two together. And the girl's mother had told investigators she had a boyfriend named David at the time of her disappearance. The two reportedly have matching tattoos on their right index fingers with the letters shh. Do you know, these pretentious twonks like Burke, it's so easy to turn the head of a 14-year-old girl, isn't it? You know, show off, say a few big words and sing songs and, you know, it's easy to come over to them as some pseudo-intellectual. But, you know, as I say, any woman of his age or older would look at him and think, what a prat. So friends in Burke's circle reportedly believe she was 19. Now, she did look older than her age, I'll say that, but You know, that's no excuse, is it? Following the gruesome discovery, Burke cancelled the remainder of his US and European tour dates and he shelved an album release. He was allegedly not cooperating with investigators, a police source told People magazine, and had not commented on the investigation or his alleged relationship ties to the teenager. Citing law enforcement officials, TMZ reported, why do TMZ always get the scoops? They've got the video of the arrest that I'm going to show you in a minute. TMZ get everything, don't they? Though they reported that detectives had also been investigating whether the killer had helped in dismembering and disposing of Celeste's body. And another thing we are told is that they now know, based on the manner in which Celeste's body was cut up, that investigators believe it's very likely whoever did it to her had helped. Don't forget the other things that were found at David's home, the incinerator, the chainsaw, you know, things that were found in his home. The outlet said investigators were looking into a trip that Burke made to a remote area of Santa Barbara County in spring 2025 in the middle of the night, where he reportedly spent several hours. I mean, why did he go there? I mean, you know, it's wondered, did he go there initially? Maybe he was thinking of burying Celeste out there, but he didn't. She was still in his car. We know that investigators are looking closely at that journey to Santa Barbara. They believe it may be connected to whatever ended up happening to Celeste. The teen's body was discovered the day after her 15th birthday, but the LA County Medical Examiner's Office said her death likely happened weeks earlier. And as the investigation continued in February 2026, court documents made public showed that Burke was the target of a grand jury investigation. They were filed under seal but made public after the singer's family challenged subpoenas in a Texas court which compelled them to testify before a California grand jury. And on April the 16th, Burke was taken into custody at a home in the Hollywood Hills. LAPD said the case will be presented to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office on April the 20th for filing consideration. And they said the case is expected to be presented to the Major Crimes Division, at which point prosecutors will review the facts and evidence to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to file charges. I thought they had already charged him, but anyway. Okay, so let's have a look at the actual arrest. I've got the arrest somewhere. Let me find it. So yeah, TMZ, don't forget TMZ are the ones that supposedly Nancy Guthrie's ransom notes was sent to, etc. You know, they get all the scoops, don't they? Let me just put a couple of. They've released 2 short videos of that are on X that I'm going to show you. So credit to TMZ. They certainly get the scoops. This apparently is one video of David's arrest.
It's going to obscure my view from the gate. If you try to run or you try to resist, you will get hit with my feet door. It's going to hurt. I got you. If you try to run, we're a canine on premises. You will get bit.
So they went there with canines, with dogs, and he just shouted to him there, if you try and run away, I'll release the canine and you will get bit. So they're trying to get him to open. It's like it seems to be some sort of gated community.
All right, so the gate is locked. You want to open the gate? Sir, open the gate.
Open the gate?
It's going to obscure my view from the gate. It's good? If you try to run or if you try to resist, you will get hit with my got hurt. I got you. If you try to run, we're a canine on premises and you will get bit. I got you. All right, so the gate is locked.
Yeah, the gate is locked, he said. So they said, well, open the gate. I mean, you know, it's not rocket science, is it, David? You know, the gate's locked. Well, why don't you unlock it? Anyway, that's one video that TMZ have released, but they have released another one as well. Let's see. From a different angle. Yeah, as I say, they get all the scoops, don't they? Anything that happens round about Hollywood or anywhere like that, TMZ or, you know, anything with any sort of famous people, they get all the details, don't they? Let's have a look at this one. Here's the other one. So, of course, it's all over social media this morning. About time. About time. I mean, God, you know, you've got the body of a dismembered teenager in your car. I can't believe it's taken all this time to arrest him. Finally. So that's the scene while David was being arrested. I bet he was surprised because he's probably sort of, you know, all this time gone past. I wonder if he thought he'd got away with it, but he couldn't surely think he'd got away with it. You don't have a body of a young girl in your car and you get away with it, surely. But, you know, who knows? Do you think he was relaxing? Let's have a look. There he is. Just even looking at his face, I just don't like him straight away. He's just, to me, he's so pretentious. I can't, you know, maybe he is very talented. Maybe he is. But there he is, arrested for the murder of Celeste Rivas. I hope Celeste is going to get justice. Because this is a young girl, you know, an innocent girl. Because whatever, she was a troubled teen or she was this, that or the other. She was 13 or 14 years old from what we can gather when she, you know, became involved with this guy. And at the end of the day, as I've said before, it's easy to turn the head of a young girl. You know, for a man like this who's sort of famous, he's got money, uses big words, that she probably thought he was, I don't know, you know, a bit special, when actually he's not special, is he? Really? Yeah. So that's the news there. I mean, that's really, with there's more to come, obviously, on this. Then there'll be the case, you know, and eventually it will go. Probably not until it actually goes to his trial that we'll get all the details of what the police think happened to Celeste. Do you know who he reminds me of a little bit? This guy. He's like a pound shop Diddy, isn't he? You know, he's like, you know, Diddy and that horrible man and his trial and all those horrible parties. I mean, as far as we know, he hasn't actually killed anyone. So actually, Diddy is better than David. But, you know, do you know what I mean? It's that similar, because everyone's wondering what role Celeste played in that house where he lived. There were a lot of other people living there or coming in and out of the property. Was Celeste used, you know, in an sex way, or do you know what I mean? It just makes you wonder, is it a sort of Diddy scenario? Were they having, you know, freak-offs or what those ridiculous things that they refer to abuse as? You know, what was the, yeah, to me, he's like a pound shop Diddy, trying to be Diddy, you know, probably hoping for that in the future. And he was on his way, you know, that's the other thing. You think, why would someone, you know, who if he's as clever as he thinks he is, why would he put all that at risk, all that, you know, he's right on the cusp of big superstardom, really. I mean, he was quite famous already, but he was on the verge, as I say, of this European tour. You know, he was on the verge of becoming a worldwide star. And what happened? You know, what happened that he would put all that risk? So he's not as clever as he thinks he is he? You know, if he was really that intelligent, he'd be intelligent enough not to put his future in jeopardy. But then perhaps he's just an out and out psycho and he just couldn't help it, you know, because I think probably psychopaths don't really sort of think of consequences, though they're normally a bit cleverer than this. But you know, to leave a body in your car, I mean, it's just crackers, isn't it, really, when you think about it? The first thing you're going to do if something did happen, whether it was accidental, whether it was red rum or whatever it was that happened to Celeste, the first thing you do is you get the body. Everyone knows that you get the body as far away from you as possible, don't you? Don't want the body to be found in your car, registered to you. How thick is he? Definitely not as clever as he thinks he is. So that's more or less all we know at the moment, that he has been arrested, and good, and I hope we do get justice for Celeste. So I'm going to move on to the next thing now. So that was the first bit of good news, if you like. I mean, obviously it's not good news because this poor girl's still dead. It's not going to bring her back, but hopefully it's the first step towards justice for Celeste. You know, that someone will be held accountable for killing, and not only killed her afterwards. You know, this desecration of a body, it's just such a horrible thing to do, isn't it? So disrespectful. You know, just like somebody is just a piece of meat and not a real person. To do that is just foul. So I hope they throw the book at him, not only for killing her, but for what he did to her afterwards, which is sort of just as bad in its own way, or even worse, treating someone with that disrespect. You know, Celeste was a person, a young girl on the sort of threshold of becoming a woman, and he took all that away from her, or somebody did about it, because it was his car she was in. So we'll see what happens there. We just have to wait and see. But at least there's some development, because there was only, you know, a guy that I follow on X, Steve Fisher, you know, he was only talking about it. Again, he's followed this case closely. He's a private investigator. He's the one that went round to the house at the landlord's request and saw that there was an incinerator, you know, and a chainsaw and what have you. And he was only talking about it yesterday or the day before, you know, saying, why has there been no development, no arrest, etc. And then here we are. So it's good. It's good that there is a development. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Nancy now. I'm going to talk about Nancy. So as I say, the first break, if you like, or good news about a case that I wanted to talk about was about Celeste. But now, right, so after no official news for ages about Nancy, that's another thing that's been talked about overnight. Now, some people, you know, they're calling it a break in the case with the DNA, but this is DNA actually. It's not really a new thing, but it's just seems to be being talked about, and it makes me wonder. Suddenly now they're talking about a hair or hairs that were found at the scene that have been at this is the Nancy Guthrie case, of course, just to remind you. Nancy, 84, stolen from a bed in Tucson, Arizona. And months ago now, months really, a good couple of months ago, there's not been any real proper developments, has there, in the case, except for in the first week, when there were a couple of detainments of people, but it came to nothing. And really, all we do know is, for certain, is Nancy was taken, and she was taken by this person. This is the images that were caught on the CCTV camera of the alleged perpetrator, or the person who they think is perpetrator. Now, so as I say, apart from the first, there was a bit of a flurry of activity in the first couple of weeks, and then since then it's been as quiet as anything. All the streamers have gone now. The neighbours have made it really difficult for the streamers to operate. They're bloody calling the police at every opportunity. Do you know, if only these neighbours wouldn't have been quite so attentive before, maybe Nancy would never have been stolen from her bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, you just think, for God's sake. So they're whinge about streamers who are out there, who are, at the end of the day, whatever you think of them, whether you think they're doing it for clicks or this, that, the other, they're still there doing it. They do care, I think, about whether Nancy's perpetrators are caught or not. And the neighbours, now they don't want them there. They don't want anybody there. They're getting in the way. They're doing this, they're doing that. Shame those neighbours weren't quite so observant when poor Nancy was snatched. Sorry, that's the wrong one that was shown there. No, makes me a bit angry actually with the neighbours, because I know if I lived there, I'd be thinking, oh my God, please, yeah, you know, until the perpetrator's found. And this is my content. Once the perpetrator's found, I completely agree. Shouldn't be anybody out there. You know, the perpetrator's caught, you know, leave it alone then. That's the time to leave it alone. But while it's been like a cold case and we still don't know who this person is, and they could still be roaming around, even Sheriff Nanos even said it could happen to anyone. You know, he said so many things, hasn't he? Started off saying no wider threat to the community, and then later on he said, oh yeah, there is a wider threat to the community. Yeah, it could be anyone. This could happen to anyone. You know, can't believe a word that comes out of this joke's mouth, this joke sheriff's mouth. But anyway, yeah, so if you were one of the neighbours, you'd be thinking, until this person is caught, how could you even sleep? You know, if you were one of the neighbours of this poor woman, and this guy's still at large because he hasn't been apprehended yet. Now, I just wanted to show you something, because I've got this, I don't know who took Nancy. I have no idea what my own conviction, if you like, or belief is. It is somebody who knew her. And it is somebody who not only knew her, but knew the area well. They were very relaxed. They weren't nervous. It was pitch black. Don't forget, if that was an area that you didn't know, or a place you didn't know well, I think you would be much more nervous and apprehensive. That person, when they walked up to the porch, and that they looked completely comfortable. They didn't look uncomfortable at all. So my personal opinion is it's somebody local. It's somebody who knew Nancy and knew her property. I don't know why they did it. It could be a money-based reason. It could be a burglary. It could be a personal grudge against either her or Savannah, her daughter Savannah, who of course is the famous TV news anchor on the Today Show in America. Now, I don't know what the reason was this person targeted Nancy, but I do think that they did target her. And as I say, I think they're local. They're so comfortable. You know, they weren't walking around as if they didn't know that house. You know, they didn't look nervous. They don't look nervous at all. And I was listening to, I think he's called Gary Brucato or something, very interesting guy talking on the Brian Ensign show. And he was saying that, I think it was him anyway, because I've watched that many podcasts. You know, even sort of seasoned burglars, they're always a bit nervous, you know, when they go out to do jobs and things, because they never know how it's going to go. And this person surely would be especially nervous because he's going in there in the early hours of the morning when Nancy was actually in there. And she might be an old lady, but you still makes everything unpredictable, doesn't it? Most burglars, they go into houses when there's nobody there. Nancy had been out all evening at Annie and Tomato's house, hadn't she? She'd been. Why did they not go and burgle her then? If it was a burglary. So this is Annie, Nancy's other daughter, and her husband Tomato. They lived just up the road. The night before, Nancy had gone there for a games night and dinner. Why didn't they burgle her then? But no, they waited for her to come home. So they were after Nancy. I personally think they were after Nancy. Or if not Nancy herself, some information that Nancy could give them. You know, there's been talk, was there a safe in the property and did they need Nancy to get the combination? But this person or people, if it turns out there's more than one person involved, it was Nancy they were after. They weren't robbing her house. Then Nancy was going to church the next morning or going to her friends to watch church, watch a live stream, church live stream that she did every Sunday. So just a little bit of investigation into Nancy's habits. They could have waited till she left the next morning and gone in and burgled. So I don't believe it was a burglary. They went in for Nancy. They either wanted Nancy herself or they wanted some information that Nancy could give them. They wanted her to be there. You know, they wanted, you know what I mean? It's like they didn't go in thinking she wasn't there. They went in there knowing she was there for some reason. So that was either to take her for ransom, to do something in particular to her, which doesn't bear thinking about, or to get some information from her, maybe a safe combination or PIN numbers on her bank accounts or whatever. They wanted Nancy. And as I say, Nancy might be 84 years old and, you know, maybe they thought she would be an easy target. But even 84-year-old ladies can be feisty. You know, at the end of the day, I always think if that ever happened to me, I'd rather they just kill me there in my bedroom. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're not taking me anywhere. That's what I always say. You know, I'm always struck by Ted Bundy saying, don't ever get in anyone's car. Ted Bundy giving advice to prospective victims. But he said once you get in the car, it's over. You know, what you should do, because somebody asked him in an interview I was watching, what should you do if somebody tries to kidnap you, to abduct you? And he said, put up the biggest fight of your life. Don't get in the car. So even old ladies can put up a fight, you know, some sort of a fight, try their best. And to me, so maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's exactly what happened. Maybe Nancy did put up a fight. And that's why, you know, where the blood came from, because remember the blood on the porch, maybe, you know, she did put up a fight and they hadn't been expecting her to put up a fight, and that's why they had to hurt her. Or maybe she had a heart attack because, of course, she had, you know, I think even people without a heart condition, if you're woken up in the middle of the night by a masked man with a gun, you're likely to have a heart attack, aren't you? My God, imagine how that would make you feel. Feel like your heart would just stop, even if you'd never had any problems with your heart before. Terrifying, just opening your eyes and seeing that face looking at you. Anyway, I just want to show you this picture because I put these together because I can't move away from this guy. You know, this is Luke. And Luke was one of the people who's been detained in this case. Now, the police have not, they've not exonerated him. You know, I mean, they say they've exonerated the family, but do you know, in my opinion, until you actually catch the perpetrator, you can't exonerate anybody. And I'm not saying that Nancy's family had something to do with it. Probably they didn't. But do you understand what I'm saying? If you've got, you think of a game of Cluedo, which, you know, no, that might seem ridiculous, but if anyone knows that board game, that is really what a murder investigation is like, isn't it? You're going around in Cluedo, you throw the dice, you go into, you ask different questions of different suspects, you know, but you do it with the cards, like, and what I mean, it's very simplistic, but it's really basically what a murder investigation is. You've got, in Cluedo, I don't know, you've got about 7 suspects, you've got 7 possible murder weapons, and so many different places in a mansion that the murder might have occurred, and you have to travel around, you know, and make assertions, and eventually you end up with, you know, one of each. So it has to be, you know, Miss Scarlet in the dining room with the candlestick or whatever. And, you know, to me, that's what it's like in a murder inquiry. How, until you know that all the, you know, until you know for certain who the person is who's done it, how can you exonerate anybody? You know, you go, all right, they might have an alibi, or they might have this, or might, and you can say that you don't think they're anything to do with it. But really, until you've actually caught the perpetrator, I personally don't think you can say that anybody isn't the perpetrator. Now, this guy, Luke, I wasn't really particularly suspicious about him until he did that interview with Brianna, where he's got so many clothes on. You know, he's shaved as well. He's clean shaven. Is he? Now, I don't know if he was normally clean shaven or if he shaved because he didn't want to show he had any facial hair. I think, you know, and obviously the picture in the middle of the perpetrator, you can't tell if it's him or not. And the perpetrator seems to have these very dark eyes. And the reason I put up the picture of Charlie Chaplin, because this has haunted me a bit. Every time I look at that picture of the perpetrator, I feel like they've got some makeup on around their eyes. And the beard and moustache, now it could be just the lighting, you know, from the camera, just seems sort of suspiciously dark. You know, like in the silent films, Charlie Chaplin, he would wear the eye makeup and the black moustache, you know, because when your films that you're making are only black and white, you've got to stand out, haven't you? So it's not only Charlie Chaplin, but of course all the stars then from the black and white films would do that. They would put you know, quite striking eye makeup on, and you've got to make a statement in a different way because it wasn't colour. So you can't make it, you know, when you came to other films later on, like which were beautiful, like Gone with the Wind, etc., with the colour that was in them, etc. But with the black and white films, you had to make a statement with black and white. That was the only thing you had. And every time I look at this picture of the perpetrator, it reminds me of Charlie Chaplin because it looks almost his eyes look almost too dark. And his moustache and goatee looks almost too dark. So, but is that just the lighting? You know, because door cams, they don't give you accurate representation of colours and things like that, do they? You know, and then I'm also struck, as always, by his rucksack, you know, because it had reflective strips on it. And I just think, why would you wear a rucksack with reflective strips when you're going to rob someone or abduct someone? You know, wouldn't you wear black clothing and try and look as inconspicuous as possible? So, and then I can't move away from Luke because of that interview that he did. He had too many clothes on. You know, it was 100 degrees apparently, and he had like great big jacket on. He looked like he had more than one jacket on, unless he had a bulletproof vest on or something. You know, he was buttoned up to the wrists and he was sweating, you know. And the woman that interviewed him, Brianna, she had a little tiny red dress on. And she actually answered me on Twitter and said it was really hot, but, you know, I can't answer for Luke. You know, maybe that's his posh clothes, that he just wanted to look respectable with his tie, his jacket, and his shirt buttoned right up to his neck. But yeah, so I just put this thing together because this is something that plays on my mind a little bit. This perpetrator, I wonder if when we do find out who it is, if we'll be completely surprised, you know, that it'll, bit like in the Rachel Marin case, when the perpetrator was finally caught, he looked nothing like the door cam footage. Because the fishbowl lens had made him look bigger than he was, broader than he was. He was just a little sort of white. He was wiry, he had muscles and that, but just right. You wouldn't have known it was him from the door cam, the murderer of Rachel Marin. And the photo fit that they put out of him looked nothing like him. You know, so I just wonder if when we do find out who this perpetrator is, and I'm not saying it was Luke, I've just put these together because he's just someone who keeps playing on my mind because of how he was dressed up so warmly for that interview. Although it was 100 degrees. I think it might be a massive surprise when we do find out who it is. I think it'll be somebody that Nancy knows. Statistically, that's what this guy said on the Brian Enton thing, and he knows. Statistically, you know, it is normally somebody you know. And I do think this person just felt very comfortable. They were in that house for 40 odd minutes as well. They weren't panicking, were they? Or not that we know of. And, you know, pitch black house, difficult to sort of see in front of your face. So surely, in my opinion, I think he was comfortable in that house. Didn't make a mess. Supposedly immaculate, some of the rooms. Went straight to Nancy's bedroom, did he? How did he know? How did he know which one was Nancy's bedroom? Unless he knew the house. Just my thoughts, that's all. You know, means absolutely nothing, just my thoughts, my own opinion. So, what's that? Oh, hello, I've missed a couple of people coming in. Hi, Moonbeam. You've been lurking for a bit. Hi, Joanne. Hi, David. Yeah, it could be a school rucksack. Yeah, could be. But do you understand, you know, do people agree with me? Would you take a reflective rucksack with you? You know, that's the sort of thing you put on if you're walking down a dark road and you didn't want cars running you over, you know, or if you were on a scooter or a motorbike or something. Why would you want to draw attention to yourself with reflective strips? Or was that the only rucksack he had? You know, but surely if you're a seasoned burglar, you would have a burgling rucksack, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you have a rucksack that you took burgling? And then I'm also intrigued, as you know, with the fact that it was packed. The rucksack was bursting at the seams with something, but we don't know what. Anyway, so what's the development been? Well, it's very interesting, I think. Not only because now, you know, that there's been, apparently this hair or hairs, I don't know if it's one hair or more than one hair, has been sent to the FBI lab to be analysed. And of course, nowadays they can do absolute miracles with hair because, you know, it used to be that you could only get the DNA of a hair if it was pulled out at the root because you needed the root. Now you don't, you just need the hair. You know, they've made such advancements with DNA technology. A hair, whether it's pulled out at the root or just falls off your head, they can get DNA off it. So suddenly this morning or overnight, they're announcing, that they're sending this hair to the FBI department, the FBI laboratory. So of course there's been all these problems, hasn't there? And again, speculations that there's issues between the sheriff's department and the FBI. So you've got Sheriff Nanos, the joke sheriff, deputy dog, as I call him, who seems to have done everything wrong from the outset. And he's been clashing with the FBI. I mean, he denies it, but he has. And I think it's because he's under investigation from the FBI. We saw with the Gilgo Beach killer that happened. That Rex Herman could have been caught over 10 years ago if only the police chief at the time wasn't corrupt and wouldn't work with the FBI, because the FBI were investigating him. And he ended up going to prison. He was dodgy. Now, I don't know if Sheriff Nanos is dodgy or not, but one thing I do know is he has been investigated by the FBI a few years ago. And I think that's why he won't work with the FBI now, because he doesn't want the FBI looking too closely at his department. I've said that from the beginning. Anyway, he apparently sent... So the DNA, things that they had for testing DNA, he sent to his own laboratory that he always uses in Florida. And he made a big thing of it, didn't he? We always use that department. It's nothing against the FBI department, just we always use it, and blah, blah, de blah, de blah. Of course, the FBI have been very quiet about everything. And now finally, apparently this has gone to the FBI laboratory, and the Pima County Sheriff's Department. This to me is just typical of the pettiness of Sheriff Nanos, because he's felt that he had to release a statement. This is a guy who never releases statements, doesn't do press conferences, just does individual, ego-driven interviews with local reporters and things. Suddenly, he's felt that he's had to come out or the Pima County Sheriff's Department felt like they had to make a statement about this, which to me, just when I read it, I just thought, this just sort of smells of you, really. Look, PCSD has worked with the FBI since the beginning of the Guthrie investigation. The Guthrie investigation, not the Nancy Guthrie investigation. This is not new information. The private lab we utilize in Florida continues to share information with the FBI lab and other partner labs. And other ones, not just the FBI. Because you know what? You can't give the FBI that credit for being the most important lab. And they are. He can say what the hell he wants, but the FBI are the creme de la creme. Like it or not, like the FBI or not like the FBI, for fuck's sake. They are the creme de la creme. But do you see how he's got to grade it down? Instead of saying, oh, it's great that now the FBI are joining us to help us, find the killer, find the abductor of Nancy Guthrie, not Guthrie. He just can't bring himself to do that, can he? He's a very petty man. This man, honestly, I get very, very bad vibes off this man. Sooner he's gone, the better. I mean, not that it affects me. I don't live in Pima County. But from what I can gather, they'll all be a lot better off if he wasn't the sheriff. So, yeah, PCSD has worked with the FBI since the beginning of the Guthrie investigation. This is not new information. The private lab we utilize in Florida continues to share information with the FBI lab and other partner labs across the country DNA analysis remains ongoing. So you know what? You just can't give the FBI any credit, can he? And the other stupid thing that they did, the Piedmont County Sheriff's Department. So this poor lady, another Nancy, a vulnerable adult, she went missing, Nancy Radakovich. So notice he was referring to the other Nancy as the Guthrie investigation. So anyway, there was a missing person bulletin put out for this Nancy Radakovich. Then when she was found, very thankfully she has been found, located. Update, Nancy has been located. So can you imagine that people when they first saw that, it's like, oh, what? Nancy's been located? Because some people wouldn't know about Nancy Radakovich. And the thing is, why suddenly now they're saying Nancy, but not making it clear and saying Nancy Radakovich. But when they were talking about Nancy's abduction, they called it the Guthrie case. You know, this sheriff's department, honestly, they're just ridiculous. Personally, that's my opinion. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so let's just look at some other articles about this. So the FBI, so this is ABC News. Let me just make sure it's swapped over. Yeah. So the important news is the FBI recently received. Why have they only just received it? That's the other thing I like because he sent it to his lab in Florida first. Probably they'd not got anywhere with it. Anyway, because he did do that. He sent it to his own lab instead of using the FBI lab, didn't he? So now the FBI recently received and is now analysing potentially critical DNA recovered from the Tucson, Arizona home of Nancy Guthrie. Sources familiar with the investigation told ABC News. Well, thank God for that. Now, have they only just received it, or have they had it a while now? There's another sort of train of thought that maybe. So this is the first official news that's come out for ages. And why is that? Do you think the FBI maybe have been behind releasing this news? Maybe they're trying to make somebody, get anxious, like that, oh God, they've got this hair or hairs or whatever. Is there something behind it? I don't know why, but I get this feeling about this case that there is this grudge between Sheriff Nanos and the FBI, and there's a bit of a tit for tat thing going on. But anyway, then TMZ said Nancy Guthrie's cold case wasn't a cold case. It's not. Might have been a couple of months, but it takes longer than a couple of months normally for cases to go cold. So I don't agree that it was a cold case. Gets a revival as the FBI analyzes key DNA evidence. So let's hope something comes of that. Oh, there was that enforcement activity last night as well near Nancy's home, but I don't know if that was connected with Nancy's case or not. But the big news really is that the FBI have got this information. Now, other information, if you like, or information that's been poo-pooed, because there's been a lot of talk. Oh, did I go off? I think my... I think my voice might have gone off there. But anyway, I'm back now, I think. More information that's been... So Brianna, the reporter Brianna, she was the one that interviewed Luke. She's also released a video just this morning, not that long ago, because there's been a lot of talk about these ransom notes, isn't there? Still, were they genuine? Weren't they genuine? And then there was a rumor going around that actually one of the ransoms had been paid. Well, anyway, she has confirmed Nothing has been paid because it was her channel. It was her channel where the ransom notes were sent as well, not only to TMZ. And they have been into the Bitcoin account, the Bitcoin wallet. No money has been deposited in it or removed from, nothing's happened in that wallet. So that is not true. It is not true that a ransom was paid, or certainly not into that particular wallet. I mean, the thing is, it's quite possible that things can be going on in the background that we don't know anything about. Now, yesterday, remember, I think I mentioned it in a video, when Savannah was on her Today show yesterday, she apparently, or people were saying that when she was just about to interview Anne Hathaway, and it went to an ad break, and when it came back, it wasn't Savannah anymore. So, people were speculating then, has there been some sort of break? Was Savannah called away? Or maybe she just got upset and wanted to, it can't be easy what she's doing. But it makes you wonder now, is it because, they were letting her know, look, we're going to announce this about the DNA, and I would presume they always want to give the family the heads up first. You would expect that, wouldn't you? Surely the family needs to be kept in the loop before everybody else, if possible. Sometimes you can't keep the family in the loop for whatever reason, but surely if you can keep the family in the loop, they would be the first to know about things. So that's where we are, basically, with Nancy. It's not much of a development, is it? But at least it's a little development. It's it's more than there has been for a few weeks. Now I'm just seeing, is there anything else that I wanted to... I'm just making sure I've shown you everything I want to show you. Now I'm hoping to be back later on today, hopefully. I want to show you that song again, which I've probably lost now. Let's see. So I'm going to finish with the song if I can find it. Thank you for caring about both Celeste and Nancy, of course. Actually, I can't find it, but next time I do a video, not only I'll have the song, but I'll have a video for it. So listen, thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about these two women. Two women, very different in ages. Celeste only 14, 15 years old. Someone's been arrested. Hopefully it'll lead to justice for her. And Nancy, the opposite age group, isn't it? 84. Just shows you're never safe, no matter what your age, where you live. You've always got to be vigilant, haven't you? Anyway, so let's see what happens with that. Hopefully we'll get some answers sooner rather than later. Thank you for watching. Please look after yourselves, because I'd miss you if you weren't here chatting with me. And until I see you again, may your God go with you. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, press your notification bell. That's it. Thank you.